No, you can't make me go back there. I won't let you take me. Too much pain. Too many dead. Can't get the blood out of my eyes. My mouth.
Fresh meat.
This is the hidden tale of the Butcher, a universally recognized character and quest of Diablo 1. However, most players have only seen this quest in part, as it was originally intended to be a two-part quest but was unfortunately cut down late in the development of the original Diablo. So in this video, as we explore the familiar first half of this quest, be prepared for its sudden deviation halfway through. The original bloody tale of the Butcher can be started by approaching the wounded townsman just outside of the cathedral at the edge of Tristram.
Please, listen to me. The Archbishop Lazarus. He led us down here to find the lost prince. The bastard led us into a trap. Now everyone is dead, killed by a demon he called the Butcher. Avenge us! Find this Butcher and slay him, so that our souls may finally rest.
Your death will be avenged.
Agreeing to take on this Butcher and avenge the nameless townsman, we ready ourselves for the horrors ahead.
The sanctity of this place has been fouled.
And as with the final release, we hack through swaths of fallen skeletons and other hellspawn, making our way deeper in the cathedral to level 2, where the Butcher's lair is rumored to reside. However, to get the full scope of this quest, I think it's best we first head to the townsfolk of Tristram to see if they have any guiding words on how to fell this frightening foe. We first head to the innkeeper Ogden for rumours.
Greetings, good master. Welcome to the Tavern of the Rising Sun. Farnham has mumbled something about a hulking brute who wielded a fierce weapon. I believe he called him a butcher.
Although he doesn't know much, our best lead seems to be, according to Ogden, Farnham, the drunk.
Can't a fellow drink in peace?
Big cleaver, killing all my friends. Couldn't stop him. Had to run away. Couldn't save them. Trapped in a room with so many bodies. So many friends. No!
It's evident that this demon still haunts Farnham's memories, with his cries of lost friends and bodies strewn about. It's no wonder he tries to find solace in the drink and forget. A comfort we are not permitted, so we head to the resident scholar Deckard Cain for wisdom.
Seems that the Archbishop Lazarus goaded many of the townsmen into venturing into the labyrinth to find the king's missing son. He played upon their fears and whipped them into a frenzied mob. None of them were prepared for what lay within the cold earth. Lazarus abandoned them down there, left in the clutches of unspeakable horrors, to die.
So the treacherous Lazarus is in league with the demons. Maybe we need a more grounded strategy from a man who is well versed on steel cleaving flesh. So we head to Griswold, the blacksmith, to get his take.
Well, what can I do for you? I saw what Farnham calls the Butcher, as it swathed a path through the bodies of my friends. He swung a cleaver as large as an axe, hewing limbs and cutting down brave men where they stood. I was separated from the fray by a host of small screeching demons, and somehow found the stairway leading out. I never saw that hideous beast again, but his blood-stained visage haunts me to this day.
It's chilling to think that this Butcher has a pack of minions waiting down in his lair for us. We'll definitely need healing and supplies, and so we head to Pepin the Healer.
By the light I know of this vile demon. There were many that bore the scars of his wrath upon their bodies when the few survivors of the charge led by Lazarus crawled from the cathedral. I don't know what he used to slice open his victims, but it could not have been of this world. It left wounds festering with disease, and even I found them almost impossible to treat. Beware if you plan to battle this fiend.
Fantastic. Crawling out of the cathedral with wounds that won't heal, that's something to look forward to. Speaking of losing limbs, Maybe Wirt knows something of this butcher.
I know more than you think about that grisly fiend. His little friends got a hold of me and managed to get my leg before Griswold pulled me out of that hole. I'll put it bluntly. Kill him before he kills you and adds your corpse to his collection.
I don't know what Wirt was doing in that cathedral, but that is such a morbid thought to think that the butcher's minions tore his leg off his body before he was saved.
Good day. How may I serve you? When Farnham said something about a butcher killing people, I immediately discounted it. But since you brought it up, maybe it is true.
Although Gillian thought it was just a fairy tale of the drunkard Farnham, everything points to this harrowing tale as being true, and that the townsfolk are unfortunately a part of this living nightmare. So, to fight evil, we want to consult somebody well versed in the darker arts and speak to Adria the Witch.
The butcher is a sadistic creature that delights in the torture and pain of others. You have seen his handiwork in the drunkard Farnham. His destruction will do much to ensure the safety of this village.
Adria agrees that killing this butcher is a net positive for the light. With that, we head back down to the cathedral, resolute in our duty to destroy this foul demon, not before giving one last final acknowledgement to the fallen townsmen before we head in.
Your death will be avenged.
After dealing with the scores of wicked demons doing their best to perish us prematurely, we finally happen upon what can only be described as the fabled Butcher's Lair. Adorned with corpses mounted on pikes, gore and flesh strewn about in an unholy decorative fashion as we steel ourselves and tepidly open the door to his lair. Nothing. No butcher rushing us, no familiar exclamation of, "Ah, fresh meat." Nothing. But what does that mean? Where has the butcher hidden? For answers and resupplies, we promptly head back to town. After heading to level 2, we see that Wirt has a new quest icon, and approaching him he says,
Here over, psst! Chamber Butcher, the From Spell Portal Town the cast! Saying am I what see?
Poor Wirt. We try and decipher his words further, to which he frustratedly states,
Get out it figured you haven't! Understand could you even so simple it make to try-die? Chamber Butcher, the From Spell Portal Town the cast!
This is curious. It's also started a further quest, the Butcher's Chamber, and we should find out what we can from the other townsfolk.
Wirt is talking backwards again? Oh, I hate it when he does that. I don't have time to help you decipher his riddle, but I will tell you one thing. Don't get involved with that rapscallion.
Despite Ogden's protest for us to not get involved, we do have a key clue. Wirt is talking backwards. Maybe Kane knows more.
You must have been speaking with Wirt. His is a sad story indeed. That poor child was taken into the labyrinth by the demons, ripped from the very arms of his mother, Canis. May her soul rest in peace. The boy managed to escape, but only after they had chewed off his leg, and he has not been quite sane since. He often speaks in riddles, but his knowledge of the labyrinth may hold some truth.
So it seems we learn of poor Wirt's fate once and for all, having lost his limb, and it seems his character wasn't going to be just a part grifter, but also half mad from the experience. Maybe having one rambling townsperson was enough, and with that, we should consult poor Farnham, who has also been touched by his experience with the butcher.
No, you can't make me go back there. I won't let you take me. Too much pain. Too many dead. Can't get the blood out of my eyes. My mouth.
I don't even know what to say. This is one of the most disturbing voice lines in the entire game for me, and it's a shame that it was cut and that it happened to him. Heading to Pepin next, he says,
I suppose it isn't beyond the realm of possibility if you could bear being in that room again. Your description of the atrocities committed there would be enough to keep me far from it.
Pepin is right. The room seems to also be a key. Now, before I head back to work to decipher his hidden message, I should consult the other villagers.
I was with Farnham that night that Lazarus led us into the labyrinth. I never saw the Archbishop again, and I may not have survived if Farnham was not at my side. I fear that the attack left his soul as crippled as, well, another did my leg. I cannot fight this battle for him now. But what if I could?
So, Farnham saved Griswold. It's funny how Gillian superficially writes Farnham off as a gibbering drunk, yet he saved the town's blacksmith, who in turn is actually pivotal for our own success. Speaking of Gillian the barmaid,
How could you even think of going back to that place?
unfortunately, we are headed back to that very place. Stocking up on supplies, we speak to Adria once more, who remarks,
The lair of the butcher is steeped in demonic power, and casting any spell of passage there could cause unexpected results.
So casting a spell of passage. This is starting to make more sense.
Get out, it figured you haven't! Understand, could you even so simple it make to try-die? Chamber butcher the from spell portal town the cast!
Listening to Wirt's instructions once more, it is evident we must cast a town portal in the butcher's lair for unexpected results. We race back to the butcher's lair with the spell in hand and cast it to be met with an ominous red glowing portal, and we step in. House is burning and a decapitated body on the rocky floor. This can only be the true butcher's lair. Fighting our way through dozens of devilkin, we find the main room's door is barred.
Looks like it's rusted shut.
However, we search around and find Burning Dead guarding a switch in the northwestern room, unlocking the previously impassable main door. As we enter, we're also shown a cutscene of perhaps what awaits us in this lair. The door barred by Devilkin as we fight our way in, and then we hear the butcher's familiar line as he rushes us.
Fresh meat.
As the Beelzebub mod enhances enemies, the butcher boasts bloodlust and a severe knockback from his cleaver, which nearly cleaves us clean in two where we stand, and we back up to make sure that we take care of his minions before attempting to stand our ground, which in itself seems to be a mistake, as the butcher's hefts are swathed through armor and weapons alike and knocks us backwards through doors. Gone is the safety of the grates to protect us, as we used to lob arrows in the original game outside of harm's reach, and no stone curse scrolls in our inventory to try and make this quest easier. It looks like we're going to do this the hard way. The butcher hacking at us shows his bloodlust also nets him life replenish, making him a particularly nasty foe to burn down. Nevertheless, with persistence and a lot of chunks out of our hide, we finally put down the butcher.
The spirits of the dead are now avenged.
As the butcher gasps its last breath, Aiden claims that the spirits of his victims are avenged. On his body we find random loot being an unidentified spiked club, short sword, and his infamous unique cleaver, which is a very powerful weapon at this level. With that and looting the rest of his lair, we promptly leave to identify and equip our newly found loot. Although we have somewhat aided the deceased victims of the butcher, I cannot help but think of the living. Poor Farnham, driven to the drink, as Griswold hopelessly looks on, and Gillian turning her nose down at it. But more sad is the effects that it's had on Wirt, now that we know who's ripped from his mother's arms, and his leg was gnawed clean off the bone. But that's just one dark tale from Diablo. Let me know your thoughts on if it should have been in the final game in the comments below. The link to the restoration mod called Beelzebub's mod is in the description, and make sure to follow me on social media to stay up to date with all my videos. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Traveler.